Good morning, it's Don the short sale guy here in Moscow on a rainy day, and I wanted to record a podcast today that has to do with what I feel is very important for any beginning investors or beginning online marketers. And it's about setting up your foundation at the beginning because it is such an important step. And I can tell you from my experience, and I've been doing online marketing I was 19 when I started my first business, and I've had moments where I've gotten a real job, but it never took. I think the longest I stayed at a job was 2 years. I've always been trying to do not online stuff, but entrepreneurial projects. And then, of course, finally in 1999, I moved back to America from Russia, and I decided to do real estate. And it took me about 2 years to really get a foothold. It took me 3 years until I actually started making money at it. But then it took off, and then, of course, I've been Don the short sale guy ever since. But this is my advice for someone who's just starting out. And I would say that the first thing is you need to find something that resonates with you to help you get started. The worst thing you can do is try to reinvent the wheel. And I can tell you this from my experience as an online marketer the last couple of years, is that I have been trying to reinvent the wheel so much that it's stopped me. If I look back, if I would have just done more research at the beginning to figure out what works best. And I will tell you that the most important piece of advice I ever got was when someone that is the number one affiliate marketer for a online marketing platform, which I've been on since July of 2018, and he said this to me he didn't say it to me, he said it in one of his videos, but he just said it like as an offhand way. And I was thinking to myself, geez, man, why didn't you just make a course out of this? Or that's a golden nugget, and you bury it in some video about something that was not even about this. But he said that you need to emulate successful people. Don't copy, but emulate them. And basically, it's just, the idea is that they've already gone down that road. They've already figured so much stuff out, is that you can just see what they're doing and emulate them and do things that are similar. And so when I was doing I probably spent definitely a year and a half trying to figure things out about how to implement, how to coordinate all these different pieces of online marketing to be able to increase or improve my brand as Don the short sale guy and help me take my business nationally. So I remember that I was so dumbfounded, or I'm saying dumbfounded. I was just so unclear about how to do this correctly. And then I had a dear friend of mine who's actually my partner in our upcoming podcast, the Renee and Don Show, and she kept begging me to listen to Traffic Secrets by Russell Brunson with ClickFunnels. And one day I had a long trip. I was driving from Orlando to Naples, and Naples over to Miami, then Miami back up. It was a 2-day trip, and so I had a lot of time in the car. And so I told her I would go ahead and listen to the audio version of it, and it really opened my eyes up. And I realized, okay, so you can do this and this and this, and this is how it's all interlocked, and you have to set that system up. And when the next month or so, I really focused on setting my system up and about creating content, how to create content more efficiently, and what my system was. And then now, in the last couple of weeks, I've started implementing it, and it's just it's so much better. I don't know if you're like me or not. I'm one of the world's best implementers. I can implement the crap out of whatever, but my roadblocks tend to be when I have uncertainty about how to do something. I will throw myself in 100% on any project if I know how to do it. So with my short sale business, back in 2003, it took me a while to figure out, okay, how do I do the court downloads? What's the best skip trace program? how do I talk to people, how do I take title to it, and then of course I had to learn how to actually negotiate short sales. That took about 9 months for me to get that down. So from March of 2003 until New Year's basically of 2004, it was a learning curve. But as I was doing that, I was doing my systems, and I had a mentor. He didn't even know he was my mentor, because I didn't. This was back before the internet really hit, and so it wasn't like he had a website or anything. I just went to his. I went to his pre-seminar seminar where he was trying to get people to pay $3,000 for his course. I didn't have the money, so I raised my hand and said, "Look, I don't have the money for your course, but what advice would you give someone like myself who's young and hungry?" I was in my mid-30s at the time, to go out there and get houses. And he said, "If I were you, I would make a pact with yourself that you will go knock on every single door that's in foreclosure in wherever territory you want to focus on, and ask people if they'll give you their house." And he said, "If you do that, I guarantee you'll have success." And that was the first foundation that I built. Was, okay, I will knock on every single door. Now, I was also a mortgage broker at the time, and I experimented. I split test things, even though I didn't know it was a split test back then. And so I came upon a strategy of, I would just approach them as a mortgage broker to try to refinance their house, because I had a license. I could certainly do that. And so the people that were, I knocked on their doors and they weren't home, I would leave a note, a handwritten note on the back of my business card saying, "I saw your house is in foreclosure. I'd love to try to refi your house to see if I could save it for you." And then I would just leave it in their door, and I'd move on. I got a lot of calls from that. And then of course, they're in foreclosure. There's no way you're gonna be able to get a refi, but that was a great lead magnet. I had no idea that the idea or the possibility of a refinance was a lead magnet that get them to call me. And so, and then it took me a few times to practice this, but then, when they say, "So I'm just gonna let it go back to the bank," then I would just summon up the courage and say, "Well, why give it back to the bank? I mean, they're the ones they're destroying your life. Why don't you just give it to me?" And to my shock, people said yes. And I started getting houses. In fact, in 10 weeks, I got 36 houses. So I realized I got a system here. And then as I was practicing, I saw what worked, what I was saying to homeowners, and what didn't. And whenever there was a question that came up, I would look it up, or I would ask some people in the business and say, "Hey, how do you answer this or out of this?" And so I built a script. I wrote a script for myself. And then I found a mentor in West Palm. I was out of her territory, so she didn't feel threatened to teach me stuff. And so she helped hold my hand for free. Thank goodness for her. Very nice woman from Great Britain, about how to do negotiations, how to negotiate short sales. And then within that period of time, I had a system built up. And let me tell you, I have tweaked the system, I have built the system, I've reworked the system back and forth over the next 20 years, but the system itself is still the same. The scripts are still the same. I've added to them. I've made them much deeper. I made them, they cover a more wide area of my expertise and different things that come up, but the foundation is still the same. And that's really the key I found, is that if you're going to start being a real estate investor, then you have to get a good system set up. You're gonna waste so much time if you try to learn as you go and you try to reinvent the wheel or whatever. Find someone that resonates with you and just emulate them. And for those of you who want to learn to short circuit this and save months and maybe years, I would say join Team Thornton. Join my team. I'll be glad to have you on, and you get access to all my stuff, and I'll help you close deals. You get my scripts, you get everything that I do to be able to make money. And of course, I focus on short sales, but I do other deals besides short sales. So that would be my advice to you, is make sure you have a solid foundation when you start your investing career, or like I said, anything that you do. I mean, I have a system now in online marketing that I'm implementing the shit out of, because now I know how to do it. So I'm not wasting more time. I'm doing this every single day. Why do you think I'm doing a podcast? Why do you think I'm doing a YouTube video every day? Why do you think I'm doing all the stuff you see on my social media? Because I figured it out. And now I put it down in a system. I have an instructional manual for myself, and every day I implement that. So that's my advice for you. I hope you found value in this, and I'll see you at my next podcast or my next video. Thank you.